All right, so let's go over this. Looks like you built some good rapport right off the bat. Put 1.5x.
Thanks. I mean, I know that you had a good call with Pend. She filled me in on some of your goals, what you're looking to accomplish. This call today was really simple and straightforward. Delve a bit deeper into some of those goals. If it makes sense, I'll go ahead and talk in more detail about our program and how we go about things.
Okay.
And if not, I'll do my best to point you in the right direction. Okay.
Yeah, sounds good. Appreciate it.
For sure. And then I guess we can start with what really motivated you to hop on this call
Good frame. I'm just gonna skip to
and
the end here
blueprints through the relationship
because for you, Ola, I'm just looking at objection handling. To be honest,
based coaching. And then once again, we have so much faith in the philosophy, so much faith in the systems that we go ahead and guarantee the results. So I know I threw a lot at you there.
No, that's good. Yeah, I was like, okay, I can do that. That's what I'm doing. Okay, yeah.
Tell me what resonates. What sort of questions do you have?
No, I don't think I have any questions. I love it. I love what I'm hearing. That's great. It's true. Like, everyone's life is very different. I have a lot of leeway in some areas, not in other areas. And so knowing that it will be customized like to me based on what I'm doing. And that's another reason I reached out. You can Google like, when do you eat carbs? How many should you have? When do you, but it's, they don't know me. They don't know my body composition, like my life, workouts that I'm doing, what I'm doing, when I'm doing it. So yeah, that's really exciting.
For sure. Yeah. So I know you mentioned nutrient time. That's something that you've done as well. Again, it's one thing to be fueled for, and there are different types of people. Obviously, there's no limit on the sort of exercise someone.
Let's see the price drop.
Come from other programs, right? And it's not to say those programs, or like you mentioned, they have is very important as well. So yeah, I think our entire program is going to be very, very beneficial for you. And then we can talk about how we get you onboard, what the process will look like from here, right? So the program that I'm going to suggest for you, Faith, would be our 16-week program, right? We do the coaches, the relationship, and then I mentioned the guarantee earlier, right? Fairly early on in the process, we've gotten the ball rolling. So if we get 4 weeks in, and we're not seeing any identifiable, whether it's a shorter one. So the cost of the 16-week program is typically $2,500, right?
Okay.
But we do have what we call incentive-based pricing. So for individuals who again are serious about this and that are deciding that today's the day that they plant their foot and make sure that they're moving in the right direction.
With your face, she's like, I'm kind of scared.
And that are ready to move forward on this call. We do offer a $500 discount. So instead of paying that $2,500, you'd be able to get started today for just $2K.
Okay. I unfortunately have to talk to my husband before I pull the trigger on that, so I can't make that call today. But
I hear you. What's your husband's name?
Daniel,
for sure. So I'm curious, what do you think he would say?
Cool. I would kind of add in a little bit like I don't know, when I heard that, it kind of sounded a little aggressive, to be honest. I would say something like, no worries, that makes total sense. What do you think your husband would say? Kind of, just like, it's just a little tonality shift, because it's like, what's your husband's name? It's kind of like, she was like, oh, Daniel,
I don't know. I think he'd be good with it, probably, but that's something, we just have a lot going on like in the background, so that's something to communicate with him, and he's actually out of town today, so.
For sure. Is it something though that, so in terms of everything that comes with the program, right? So from the blueprints themselves, the accessibility to coaches, the 24/7 access, the accountability, everything that comes with the program itself, that all sounds good to you. Just more so something that you're gonna have to have that discussion with him about.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, I definitely hear that. And
I always like asking the support, like the two questions. Okay, no worries. Does your husband know that? Because she kind of threw in like, oh, he'll probably say yes, but I have to run it by him, right? That's kind of something you can like challenge. You can challenge a deposit. So I would put that on the side, and maybe you do. I'm just reviewing this live. Something along the lines of like, well, does your husband know that you're on this call? It's like, yeah, he does. Okay, no worries. And based on that, do you feel like your husband supports you and your goals? I mean, he's probably been hearing like, the stuff of like the goals that you want to be reaching, right? It's like, yeah. Do you feel like he supports you in that? She says, yes. Okay. Well, is there any reason why, if you already kind of know the answer, why it wouldn't work now?
I respect that as well. One thing that we can do, right? So for one, to at least save you that incentive-based pricing, because that is only good for this call. And then on top of that, also to make sure that
so you have leverage, right? You want to use your leverage. Like he already supports you. Okay, no worries. Do you feel like if you already know you're going to talk to your husband, so on and so, and she kind of mentioned it's about like these little things, right? These little things that they say, that's like the true objection of like, yeah, we got so many stuff going on, right? He supports me, but we have so many stuff going on. Okay, what do you mean by that? Yeah, well, we got the bills. Okay, are you open to perhaps maybe discussing a little bit of the numbers that kind of make sense? So when you mean bills, like you guys have to discuss the numbers, is that correct? It's like, yeah. And it's like you have a higher percentage if you do an open wallet, and kind of just, okay, are you open to maybe like talking about like some numbers? Because like we can always come up with like a customized plan for you if it makes sense. you know, like in regards to the finances. And she might be like, okay. And it's like, da, 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 da. And then you end up knowing what that looks like, right? You want to like almost just ride with what they end up saying. And then you want to just figure out what the objection is.
We can hold the spot for you.
Because she kind of seems like a no.
Because we do have limited spots, right? We do like to make sure that we don't overload any of our coaches, just to make sure that, you know, they never spread too thin with the amount of clients that they're working with.
Yeah.
One thing we do in situations like this, just to be, again, hold that price and fee and then hold the spot for you, is that we take a deposit.
Okay.
Right, so we can take a deposit to make sure that we can hold the spots for you and hold that discounted price for you. And then you can have that discussion with your husband. And then from that point, if you guys decide to move forward, then obviously you're already in. All we got to do is make the rest of the payment. And if not, that deposit is obviously 100% refundable. How does that sound?
What's the deposit?
$500.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to talk to him real quick before I like throw money into it. Definitely something that I'm interested in, something that I think sounds amazing, and the pricing makes complete sense. Just definitely want to like get with him and discuss some stuff before I.
Okay, what do you guys, just so I know I'm aware, is there anything that you want to discuss a little bit? Is it more about the program? Is it something that you need more support on? Like, what does that look like? Because now it's kind of like, now we're getting like the real, like, I like that you did this, but now it's kind of like she has this smokescreen objection.
Pull the trigger on it.
I hear you. Okay. And I mean, it is something that you are like definitely serious about, though, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, for sure. Do you know when you have the opportunity to get a hold of them and kind of discuss things with them?
Probably tomorrow morning. He's taking my son on a soccer trip, so he's in the car with like a bunch of young boys right now, and they're driving. He'll be at the soccer game and then head back today, so it's like a long day for him. But tomorrow I'll be able to talk to him.
For sure. I'm sure the last thing he can handle is a phone call with all those boys in his ear.
He's got a car full of 16-year-old boys, yeah. So he's gonna be like, "Please call me later."
For sure, I understand that. Okay. Yeah, I guess go ahead. I mean, when you have the opportunity, chat with him, and then tomorrow I'll be sure to kind of to check in with you in the evening. And then at that point, if we're ready to move forward, you know, we can obviously talk, make sure that we're getting things going. Okay.
Okay. No, I really appreciate it. Thank you.
I would schedule the call. 100% schedule the call. You got to schedule the call. You always schedule calls no matter what. I think it should be 100%. I always do that just because there's a little bit of leverage. Okay, well, how does tomorrow work? This time, okay, because it also holds them accountability, you know, to say I'm going to talk to this person, and then we kind of move from there. So let's kind of recap. All right. Let's go back to the beginning. So she ends up saying something along the lines of, okay, got it. I just got to talk to my husband about it. And then we go, okay, let's use the frameworks. Okay, does your husband know that you're on this call? No worries. Does your husband know you're on this call? Yeah. And do you feel like he would support you? And then she says, yes. Okay. Now you want to challenge them. Is there any reason why, if your husband already supports you and he would already say yes, then why you couldn't be doing it now? I just have to talk about the finances. Okay, no worries. Totally makes sense. I want to respect your relationship, your marriage, whatever's got going on. And in situations like this, we still want to reserve your spot, the incentive-based pricing. So what we typically do is we have a deposit just to reserve your spot, because we never know if these doors are ever going to be open in the next couple of days. We have so many people, so many inquiries, and we want to make sure that, you know, people who are serious, although they still have to talk to the husband, even though they support them, they can at least reserve their spot. And it's completely refundable. You can even say it's completely refundable. It just makes sure that you're at least moving and taking some action to moving forward in the process, right? You see how I kind of did that there, right? Like, you want to like be able to have that flow, that natural flow coming out, right? Easy flow, right? And then she'll have to say, no, I just still need, you know, if you frame it that way, you could maybe get something, right? And she's like, I just have to talk. Okay. Aside from finances, is there anything you were going to talk to your husband that I can't answer here? Like, is there anything that you're going to talk about? Just the numbers, right? Or about the program. And that's where you open wallet or really get into the support or really get into talking about the program, right? Because for her, it's probably, this is too much. But if you break down the open wallet, then you can challenge like, hey, Faith, like, you know, you've been doing this and you don't want to pay this for this. Is this really something that's super serious for you? That's what I would say. You know, go through that flow and kind of ride with the objections.